I don't know how many times do you want to look at underground and how many times do you want to look at boobs, but how many times do you also want to have the idea of like TS, right? Transgender stuff too, and like the thought process. But the devil, because it would definitely, you can definitely make a devil scenario. That's the thing. You can definitely make a devil scenario out of just, common things. Kind of funny how your Switch controller does that. If you put your Switch controller for dock mode, very creepy. Very, very scary. Yeah. Showing you the stuff that I'm looking for. I'm looking for some crazy stuff. That's why we have Zelda being like a Coco vagina mouth. Slow just blatantly being in your face. Uni side order, side by side, day by day, side by side, Zelda enemy. I like zooming on this one due to I like how it looks. How it looks at it's like a scared look. And there's your 13-year-old. I was trying to look for the 13 enemy 0. Because that makes sense. I mean, bloody shoes. I mean, if you kick somebody in the head, you can definitely get bloody shoes. That's the whole thing. The whole thing behind Nelly is Nelly has like the artist, the guy that sings the songs. When he has that video, because females they end up killing each other with heels, because heels. That's why of course. I mean, a common thing is you go on Jerry Springer. You can watch Jerry Springer, and they're like take off the shoes kind of thing. There's the poke for devil. I'm wondering what the whole TS thing is. I think it's about, because BPDTS, right? I always try to think of like props. You know what I'm saying? Like props, and then there's because that's what they use. That's what people commonly use in that industry. They can use props, cameras, products to cover products, right? This is let me see where this one is though. This one's kind of hard to see. It might be with the tail. I don't know if it's with the tail. If they're trying to say with the tail, who knows? Look at the enemy doing it again, right? Green, green, green. Oh, look at that. That's a jet. Wow, that's kind of weird to see a jet. Triangle jet. A lot of tiny faces. I mean, side by side has, down there has a tiny face. Sometimes I even think they just think like the simple things is popping a head off, right? Look how it turned itself off like that. But anyway, it's just like it has like a little head right next to there where you can rewind back. But it pop a head being popped off. But that's like the confusing part, because even though you have the TS right, because that's what you have, the TS right, you may have the TS, but you also have the common sledgehammer reference of the adult star that got sadly attacked with a hammer, right? It's kind of crazy because of body humanity, and that is a very scary thing, and that is just how body humanity goes. It's almost like a human's ready to get with a female, or ready to go and do something, but the whole crazy part of it is like a human's body, because a human's body, it's hard for a human's body to get up. The reason Elliot Rogers, he did the things that he was able to do is he got people drunk, right? He got them all kind of like in a different kind of situation, just a different part, different spot, right? Um, but I mean, if you go online, people research that stuff online too. There's being trapped in a room, right? Okay, being trapped in a room. Um, stuck is just amazing. It's just an amazing word. There's so many amazing lines. That's what makes that game so good. Is it just has line after line of like being stuck. You're melted, right? Fire will melt your skin, right? You know, flamethrower, Pokemon, Charizard, Charmander, whatever fire Pokemon you want, right? Um, by the way, Growlithe, we never really forget Growlithe, but like, isn't it crazy how if you look at Growlithe's design, like his original sprite, his I think you could. I think it's crazy how you look at his sprite, and his sprite is just something I've been talking about lately. But because I mean, him being a side is very good. It's very good him being a side because he gives that presence. He gives the presence of a Goita. He gives the presence of a Goita. He gives the presence of. Like if you were to float him around too, that's the funny thing because like when people's heads spin and we have common things like out of dimension for Star Fox, right? But when your head spins, if you were to see Growlithe spinning around in your head, just like spinning around, float, levitation, hover. um and that's why there's so many disgusting things Pokemon does, like oh, they're levitating and you can't attack them kind of thing. um and Pokemon's all still point game. Like Pokemon's not like an action, it's like a turn paced still point game, which is creepy too because it's like it's happening in your face and it's just like right there and you're like, that's the whole amazing view of Pokemon because Pokemon's just like you're looking across and you're seeing what's across, right? So that's where they get the whole idea of capsules. And capsule is always going to be uni, right? So it's just like they always have like the whole pocket. And, the idea has just been done again and again, and it's all started with like green, and it makes sense because even when they give you like a little story behind green right through a comic book, they tell you how she steals. What's one of the most common demonology stories ever is about like stealing, right? So stealing is just a very common. I don't even there's almost like four demons. I think there's like 4 or 5 demons that there might even be 6 of them for all I know. 6 demons that all have what trickery, stealing, like vanish. And stealing is such a crazy practice because it's not just you like going and stealing, right? You could steal somebody's time away, right? By lying to them, right? So if you lie to a human, and you're stealing their time away. And that's one of the crazy ones. That's kind of like the advanced thinking of it is that, oh, this plant's good for you, right? That's how we get into the actual Silent Hill stuff, as opposed to, trying to argue with Silent Hill, because that's like a crazy thing to do. A crazy thing is to be like, oh, I want to argue with Silent Hill. Well, Silent Hill is talking about terminology that you do not study. You don't actually study this terminology. And when people don't study that terminology, that's the problem. And it's like it's a 3 term. It's 3 terms. It's specific words, and all of it makes sense. because even like like I'll give you a stupid example right now too. A stupid example is that like I got to eat solids, okay? So I got to eat solids, but I still got to make sure I'm eating like good solids, right? I got to make sure the solids that I'm eating are good, right? For energy, right? Like, so I need a good solid, but I need it to have an amount of energy, and I can't eat too much of it. You know what I'm saying? I got to have it, like I have to have the right balance of eating that amount of grams, not eating too much grams, okay? So I got to eat it like that. And that's all just from a food component. Okay, so that's the whole component of a food for taking care of your body, okay? And that's kind of like, that's not making, it's not to make fun of you, it's not to insult you, it's just the idea behind it, You're always trying to get away dehydration, right? You're always trying to recirculate, right? Recirculation. So getting around practices, okay? Getting your body out of practices is the only thing that you have. And normally that's why I'm like, with caffeine, like I like to get away from caffeine. And the reason I like to get away from caffeine is that caffeine, why it could be as kind of like a stimulant, okay? Like caffeine could be a stimulant that could create energy. Most of the times it does not create energy. It diminishes your cells and it just doesn't do anything. So that's normally the idea that gets me away from caffeine. Because as much as like you would try and go for caffeine, caffeine's just going to be kind of like it's going to slow you down. It's going to slow you down eventually. And that's all I've ever seen from caffeine. And I don't know why caffeine does that. It's just how caffeine does it. Even if you were to like do like the natural caffeine thing, eventually your body's probably gonna regurgitate a symptom, right? And then that symptom that your body's gonna have is gonna be like, well, I need caffeine, which is, you don't need caffeine, but your body will be like, man, I want some caffeine. And then your body will override everything else when you can get healthy energy, stored energy. But like you will basically you'll sit there, you'll be like, why is this not working? You'll be like, whoa, what is this? What's going on here? And that's where the study came. Okay, so the study that you had these physicians talking about how caffeine lowers the testosterone. It's mainly you're getting stress, you're getting stress, still point, instead of just saying like fatigue, right? You're getting still point, you're getting your production down. Everything that you do, from walking, jumping, everything is just because you're doing caffeine. That's it. I don't even know why it's like that. I'm trying to think if there was it's mainly due to like liquids in general. I think liquids are not really supposed to, liquids for the most part are not supposed to have composites. You know what I'm saying? Like a liquid can't have a composite. Like normally you're just supposed to drink water and not have composites, because every time you have a composite, okay, that's why like milk's okay to drink, but like you got to drink. I don't think you don't drink way too much milk, of course, because sodium, right? But that's where the composite argument comes from. The composite argument normally is just drink water, drink water, drink water, drink water. And it may be stressful, but that's the thing. Drink water, and your blood gets circulation through that. And that's the craziest part of a diet. A regular good diet is expensive, for sure. It's expensive, but it's a good diet is not having where you're taking the fats. You know what I'm saying? It's not like giving too much fats to your body is like, wow, what am I doing, right? And that's why it's such a hard formula. Okay, so the hard formula beyond the 3 C's, and why the 3 C's are always talked about. They're talked about mainly. Yes, it's a program. it's a program, it's a scientific program on how, like, if you decide you're like, man, I want to be with the cool kids, I want to go do the green, or I want to go do this, or I want to do that, blah, 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 blah. I want to do this, I'll do that. But when you do that, those three C's, you get the worst thing, which is sex. That's how the three C's. So you're getting back to a habit. You know what I'm saying? You're getting back to any habit. So you have multiple habits. We're not just talking about sex in general, right? We're talking about the fact that you're getting into a habit, and then you're getting into another habit, and then you're getting into another habit, Also,